I got to take the car to school every day. If you want the car, you have to take your sister to and from school. Do that. You can have free reign of the car otherwise. She took a course that was split between 2 different schools, but that meant about 90 minutes of my time fetching her most days of the week at rush hour when I should be doing assignments if I wasn't working that day. But hey, small price to pay for the freedom, right? And then I get to cruise to school in luxury for a completely stress-free start to the day, right? No, of course not. Because there's an opportunity here for the school to fuck with you. Yeah, you got it. Parking. When it comes to parking, schools are heartless fucking criminals. With my school, there were 2 entrances to the parking lots, both nice and slow, blocking traffic on the major roadways. And can I point out, they put the parking lots in the front and recessed the buildings towards the back? That's the stupidest thing I ever fucking heard. If you're in a car, you can drive your ass around back to park. This shit adds about 10 minutes to your walk to school, and if it's winter, it's like a fucking death march back from the Eastern Front. On top of how slow it was, a lot of the time there was just nowhere to go. I paid for parking just to get in and find there weren't any spots left. And then I have to drive my ass around looking forever and great, look at the fucking time. Now I'm late for class. There were times I had to turn around, drive home, and race my ass to school on foot. I'm dead fucking serious. You'd think you can avoid this shit by buying a season's pass in advance, but that still won't guarantee you a space. They sell more passes than they have parking spaces. That's like paying for a movie ticket and hoping there's a seat left in the theater. Driving up to school was always tense too. They'd stop charging for parking after some random point in the day. Sometimes 4 p.m., sometimes 3 p.m., and sometimes 11 o'clock in the fucking morning. And you see this lot over here, this little one? They don't even police that. You think people paid over there? Parking was free overnight, so what if you just stayed in the lot until morning? All-nighters aren't exactly uncommon in college. What kind of system is that? Now, let me ask you this. Do students typically have a lot of money? They're working towards building a career, so if they do have a part-time job while they're in school, they can't exactly work a lot of hours. Then there's housing, toiletries, all kinds of expensive school supplies and fees, and the small matter of buying food. After all that, is there really a lot of cash left over? And let's not forget that students are technically human beings and probably entitled to a little recreation every once in a while, for Christ's sake. So I think we can agree that students typically are strapped for cash. If one of them is lucky enough to have access to a car so they can shave off a few precious minutes in transit, wouldn't it be bullshit to fuck them over for cash? When I was in school, a parking pass was $300, and I was lucky enough to have a job. Now, it's $450. So, okay, I looked at some other schools in the area. Maybe mine was just particularly bad for parking. $756. $813. Oh, look at this. $840. Wow, $300 wasn't so bad. Maybe I should be thankful. And the school my sister went to, the lowest you can pay for the year is $644. It's a good thing I was taking my sister to and from school, because there's no way we could have afforded a parking pass for her. Just look at the shit she has to carry for class. Is she supposed to take this on the bus? This barely fits in a car. And this is the cheap shit. The car in the open, regular ass student parking. No protection from the elements, no security watching for break-ins, and some of these schools charge over $1,000 to park your fucking car. This shit is non-transferable. No fucking around, no guarantee of a spot, bullshit. You get sick or you have to drop out, you can't sell this to someone else and recoup your losses, not according to their rules, and you can't lend it to a friend if you're not going to class that day. Christ, even the fucking TTC lets you do that. The highest I saw was $1,200 a year. That is fucking insane. I didn't even pay that much on gas and insurance combined. Shouldn't it cost more for the time the car is moving than the time it's sitting still? Can't afford parking? Just take the bus. And how much is that going to cost you every month? I get that the school wants to accrue a reasonable fee, but what's the point of this? To financially cripple someone who's just trying to go to class? Does this help to better educate us? If you can prove that you're a student at the school, there should be a reasonable flat rate for parking. Just prove you're a student. After all, one car is one car. What's wrong with that? Even the church across from campus was selling parking to students. I lived at home. I had the comfort of a warm bed, my mom's excellent cooking, access to a free washer and dryer, and I didn't have to pay rent or utilities. Most students aren't that lucky. Schools tell them that they're the leaders of tomorrow and will go on to do great things, all while looking for every way to fuck them out of their money. Right now, the same program I took in college is over $9,000. I'm not making that joke. This shit's for real. And if you're an international student, you're paying about $23,000. Do they really need that extra couple hundred to let your car sit there? And some of you are going to say, oh yeah, well my tuition was $50,000. Well, hey, this isn't a fucking competition, okay? When you're paying thousands in tuition, you can't really afford to fuck around with a few hundred. That could be the difference between eating and not. And that is why school parking is bullshit. I can't imagine anything good ever came of this.